Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here on this, another episode of Vegan Police TV. This episode I am exposing, unmasking, lifting the lid on a few of the little unknown secrets of the Animal Justice Party. So, without further ado and all that fanfare and glossy stuff and everything, let's get on with it. Now, for those of you who are in Australia, I'm sure that you are aware of who the Animal Justice Party are. For the overseas viewers, they are what they like to promote themselves as being the second party in the world to be to have someone elected into Parliament to have a platform for the animals. Now, that's what their claim to fame is and all that sort of stuff. So a few things about the Animal Justice Party. They've been going for a couple of years now. They're in WA, firmly entrenched in Sydney, in New South Wales and Victoria. They're trying to again get a foothold in Queensland. I don't think that they'll have any luck in Queensland because Queensland has a different political system to the other states, where it was a unicameral system. So that means we only have a lower house. There's no upper house in Queensland. So I do not believe that they'll be able to get enough traction, in the lead up to the next election, which I'm not sure if we've gone to 3 years or 4 year terms yet, or whether that happens with the next one. For that to get a vote in Queensland, to get a seat in Queensland. So normally they play on the federal circuit and all that sort of stuff. So originally, when was it? 2012 or 13 or whenever. Anyway, whenever it was. It was founded. Mark Pearson ran for the Senate. Now, for those who are not aware of Mark Pearson, he is the former Executive Director of Animal Liberation New South Wales. Now, for someone to go from a group, allegedly, they are called Animal Liberation, that is on some hands an animal rights group, on some hands an animal welfare group. Now, we know that those two terms, whilst I don't like those terms because I think they're misleading terms, they are mutually exclusive. You can't, you can't go for what people understand is the animal welfare approach, which is increased regulation, and also have an animal rights approach. So those two terms are mutually exclusive. So that being said, he's been in that for a while. His biggest claims to fame were, going through raiding parties or being doing protest at piggeries and things like that. I believe one of his soapbox issues at the moment is the kangaroo cull. He's been over to Russia, even as an MLC, over to Russia to try and get them to stop importing kangaroo flesh. Now, those acts within itself, do not disagree with them at all, and all that. So let's talk about the party itself. Now, the party, it's a federally registered party, and in some states it's registered in states. Now, it's not registered in Queensland for the reasons that I said before. To be registered in Queensland, they need a minimum of 500 members. The common belief in the party, based on discussions that I've had with people over the years, is that they do not believe that there's enough people in Queensland that care about animals to warrant forming a party. And there's also the other reason as well, is that because Queensland has a unicameral system, there's no way for any standing member to actually get elected. So it's just going to be, they're fighting a losing battle for that one. So that's why I do not believe that they'll come to Queensland for that. So the party itself, now that, and has been admitted by the current president and founder Steve Garlick and Mark Pearson himself as well, is that the party was founded on the philosophies and the teaching of the comments and all that sort of stuff by Peter Singer from his book Animal Liberation. Now, that book Animal Liberation was also the inspiration for starting the various animal liberation groups in Australia. Now, to get an understanding of that, the book Animal Liberation itself is not about liberating other animals from anything. It's more about being more mindful and being more aware of the way that animals are treated. Now, this is the same philosophy that the different animal liberation groups. Now, I believe it's a franchise because they have to go and apply for rights to use the name from the big all-encompassing group. And from what I understand is that if they don't toe the line and follow that particular message, then they can get kicked out of the, they can have their right to use that name revoked. So is that a franchise? It's entirely up to you to whether you understand that or not. They're not independent, regardless of what they say that they are, because they're all governed. They all have responsibility to toe the line under that brand. So Victoria was the only one that managed to sort of go against the status quo, and that was for a number of years. Then all of a sudden, lately, they're toning down more of that regulationist approach, which is sad because they were the Victorian group were the only ones that were actually making a difference and doing anything. So now the party itself. So one thing that they like to do is when they talk about things is that they say, hey, with us, with your support, with your vote, we can stop this. Now, the big thing that they talked about at the last federal election was greyhound racing, because that was something that was going on at the time. Puppy mills, which we know Mark Pearson has, shafted the animals on that one. There was a couple of other matters that were that. So the thing with that is that they were claiming, and the Independent Office of Animal Welfare. Now, they were claiming that if they get votes into the federal parliament, that they'll be able to have an impact on that. Well, sadly, they wouldn't, because the Animal Justice Party, even if the whole Senate was filled full of Animal Justice Party senators, they cannot do anything regarding the states, because there's this little pesky clause in the section in the Constitution, 651. 10 or something like that. Okay, hello everyone, I'm back again. Just had to have a little bit of a pause because my son's a little bit crook at the moment, and he just wanted to be near daddy, and so I had to go and spend a little bit of time with him. I'm back now, and I did chase down the section of the Constitution that I was talking about now. It's section 51 of the Constitution, and it says legislative powers of the Parliament. Now, this is the Australian Constitution. It says the Parliament shall, subject to the Constitution, have power to make laws for the peace, order and good government of the Commonwealth with respect to. And it gives you 39 sections where it says that the Commonwealth has power. Now, obviously, it's for trade and commerce with other countries and among the states, taxation, bounties on the production or export of goods, borrowing money on the public credit of the Commonwealth, postal, telegraphic, telephonic and other services, the naval and military defence of the Commonwealth and of the several states in control of the forces to execute and maintain the laws of the Commonwealth, lighthouses, lightships, beacons and buoys, astronomical and meteorological observations, quarantine, fisheries, census and statistics, coinage, currency, coinage, legal tender, banking other than state banking, insurance other than state insurance, weights and measures, bills of exchange and promissory notes, bankruptcy and insolvency, copyrights, patents of inventions, designs and trademarks, naturalisation and aliens, foreign corporations, marriages, divorce, invalid and old age pensions, provisions of maternity allowances, service and execution throughout the Commonwealth of civil and criminal process and judgments of the courts of the states, the recognition of the Commonwealth throughout the Commonwealth of the laws of public acts, records and judicial proceedings of the states, the people of any race for whom it deems necessary to make special laws, immigration and emigration, influx of criminals, external affairs, relations to the Commonwealth of with the islands of the Pacific, acquisition of property on just terms from any state or person for any purpose with respect to which the Parliament has power to make laws, controls of railways with respect to transport for naval and military purposes of the Commonwealth, the acquisition with the consent of state of any railways of the state on terms arranged by the Commonwealth, railway construction and extension in any state with the consent of the state, conciliation, arbitration for the prevention and settlement of industrial disputes extending beyond the limits of any one state, matters of in respect of which this Constitution makes provision under the Parliament otherwise provides, matters referred to the Parliament of the Commonwealth by the Parliament or Parliaments of any state or states, but so that the law shall extend only to states by whose parliaments the matter is referred and which afterwards adopt the law. Exercised within the Commonwealth at the request or with the concurrence of the parliaments of all states directly concerned with any power which can, at the establishment of the Constitution, be exercised only by the Parliament of the United Kingdom or the Federal Council of Australasia, and matters incidental to the execution of any power vested by this Constitution in the Parliament or in either House thereof or in the government of the Commonwealth and in the federal jurisdiction and any department or officer of the Commonwealth. Now, for an example of this is the Franklin Dam case, where the 70s or 80s, I couldn't Google it, but I'm not going to worry about that, because it's just to give you an indication that the Tasmanian government wanted to dam the Franklin River because they were using that. I think there was going to be a proposed hydropower facility or something like that. Obviously, it's a bit before my time. I was only a little tacker. So yes, the state went ahead to build the dam, blah, 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 blah. Commonwealth turned around and said no. There was a fight with the state saying, well, no, the Commonwealth doesn't have power under the Constitution. The Commonwealth said, yes, we do. The state said, yeah, no, we don't. There was a big challenge in the High Court. It ended up being because the the Commonwealth claimed that they did under Section 29 of it, which is External Affairs, under Part 29 of Section 51. So that is within External Affairs. And the premise of that one is that the Commonwealth had signed unilateral treaties or multilateral treaties regarding the use of water and things like that. Now, one part where it does say that matters referred to, which is 37, matters referred to the Parliament of the Commonwealth by the Parliament or Parliaments of any states, but so that the law shall extend only to states by whose Parliament the matter is referred and which is afterwards adopts the law. An example of that will be heavy vehicle registration and licensing. Now, the licensing of motor vehicles and registration of motor vehicles and the licensing of drivers is under the control of the state because it's not expressly mentioned in the Constitution, so therefore by default it runs to the power of the states. Now, so this is heavy vehicle licensing and registration, so that's your truck drivers and things like that. So that's been handed over to the Commonwealth. All states handed over that. They did the same thing with the registration of business names. They handed that over to ASIC, who is a Commonwealth body. They've also done the same thing, excluding WA with Australia's workplace law. So now excluding those employees under state corporations, under state government bodies and things like that. Anyone that is from there is now, excluding anyone from that is now part of the federal system, which is the Fair Work Act. So, that being said, how could the Animal Justice Party bring about an independent office of animal welfare that would have some sort of control over the states? Legally and without a humongous fight, they couldn't. All the independent office of animal welfare could do would be maybe to advise the states, hey, listen guys, your standards are slipping here, you need to do this, or let's do an investigation on this. The body would literally be would have no power. It'd just be a bureaucracy. And then who's to say that the states would go along with it as well? Because all the states have got to do is turn around and say, well, no, we don't pay any attention to what you're doing, especially if it was something that was instigated by, let's say it was the Labor government and the Greens that wanted to do that. So let's say the next election there's a Labor and Greens form a coalition and form government from that. And then let's say Queensland or New South Wales has a Liberal government. Well, they're likely to turn around and say, well, no, go and choose the valley. We're not going to pay attention to anything that you want because we're our own governing body, our self-independent and sovereign states and whatever other legal mumbo-jumbo BS that you want to put with it. So from that aspect, the Independent Office of Animal Welfare wouldn't have any power. And so for the Animal Justice Party to turn around and say that yes, we can do this, we can control that. It was very, very and deliberately misleading because they wanted to run off the deception that the Greens and all these other, parties that were looking to shore up public opinion or public votes for that. So, what other things is there? Well, as we've seen recent at the last election, there's a lot of people with non-mainstream views on other human beings. Some have expressed objections against same-sex marriages. There's a lot of that have racist views. Now, this isn't something new with this last election. It's been happening to the Animal Justice Party inside that for years. I wrote a number of blog posts and sent a number of tweets and even direct email correspondence to both Mark Pearson and Steve Garlick about the racist and misanthropic views of one of their committee members. Now, all that fell on deaf ears because it's the Animal Justice Party. They're a bunch of arrogant so-and-sos that they know better because they've been doing this for years. How why should they pay any attention to the troublemaker Cameron Blewett? Well, these were things that there was one of the committee members was very misanthropic, saying that I think it was something about a salmonella outbreak or something like that, saying that all meat eaters needed to die. Now, this guy was a committee member. He also expressed a lot of anti-Islamic sentiment as well. So, for the Animal Justice Party to throw the members or the candidates under the bus that they had recently, that just shows you that the Animal Justice Party, they've got no idea about anything. They've got they're just they're trying to be a populist party. They are for want of a better term, a micro party that is just one platform. They've got they don't have an understanding of anything outside of the animals. Now it frustrates me that even reading the open letter, that so many people turned around and said, well, I don't understand the Animal Justice Party. I'm not a true vegan because I'm not supporting the Animal Justice Party. Well, hang on, I do understand the political process. That's why I wrote the open letter. That's why I'm asking the questions. That's why I'm not voting for them, because I don't agree with the political party system for a start, because I believe that it's unconstitutional anyway. So, and the other thing with that is that, okay, let's say I voted the Queensland senators in. Who would control what the Queensland senator does? Would they go by what their electorate would want? So that's the people of Queensland who voted them in, or would they go by what some person in New South Wales says? I mean, they can't answer that. So, this is the thing, is that before you start jumping up and down and saying, the Animal Justice Party are going to save the animals. Well, no, they're not. They're not here for justice for the animals. They're not here to do anything other than be a political party and have members elected. Whether they push, get legislation through or not is highly suspect. Using the recent puppy mill inquiry, that parliamentary inquiry that happened in New South Wales, Mark Pearson came out and said that he made a press statement. I'll see if I can dig it up, saying that the legislation wasn't as hard as what some people wanted, because he wanted to wind it back to get it presented, get it into the parliament, get them looking at it, and then build on from there. Well, that's not seeking justice for other animals. That's not doing anything justice related for other animals. All they're doing is trying to maintain your relevance as an MLC on an alleged single platform. So it's the thing. And this is the thing, in full transparency and all that sort of stuff. Yes, I do have a lot of concerns. I've had a number of run-ins with Mr. Pearson. I disagree with everything that he does. I think he's very, very deceptive in what he does. So from that, it's things that something he needs to be truthful and honest about his party. The Animal Justice Party is not a rights-based party. So for people to say it's an animal rights party is deceptive. For Mark Pearson to turn around and accept the journalistic comments that he's an animal rights activist, and even him to turn around and say he's an animal rights activist, is deceptive within itself. So, this one, I'm not going to rant too much more because I'm aware of the time now. Even the second part is going longer than what I wanted. I will do a number of follow-up pieces on this one, so I'll add this into the playlist later on for that one. So anyway, that's it. Rest assured that there is going to be more coming about this. Because I think this is something that vegans need to become more politically aware rather than transferring their responsibility to someone else, some faceless person in a political party, thinking this will do it. And it also comes down to something that I want to talk about later on, is that political lobbying will be more effective than political parties in improving the standard for other animals. So anyway, that's, as I said, that's going to be coming up in a later episode. So anyway, thank you for watching. My name's Cameron Blewett. This was you have been watching another episode of Vegan Please TV, and my new catchphrase at the moment is "Don't fear the vegan, please." Thanks for watching, and bye for now. No, once again, I forgot to turn the remote on before I click stop. So here we go. Bye for now.